Hello, Richard. How are you today?
Good, I'm very good. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for joining us for a Spotlight special interview. So, shall we start the interview?
Absolutely, let's go.
Great. What's your current role at Microsoft?
Well, I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at Microsoft Singapore. So I work with customers, partners, the academia, our private and public sector to help build a resilient and digital inclusive Singapore.
Do you prefer the office or work from home?
That's a great question. Actually, it's both. I think the good thing is that Microsoft offers us a flexible hybrid work culture that really works for me. And I usually head into the office for like in-depth collaboration with colleagues or meetings with partners and customers, and also bonding with our teams and socialize itself. But I also like my home office as well. Something I kind of put together during this COVID-19 pandemic. It gives me a chance to really work on some things that require some quiet time and some research as well. And at the same time, it's really about also improving some learning, developing myself, and so I can be at my best during work and in my life as well.
Okay. So, what's the first thing you do when you start your work?
I love the power of Office 365. This is the part where I looked at my calendar and try to visualize what my day would be like, and it's really great. Microsoft Viva gives me a daily briefing on some of the tasks I need to follow up on and some of the meetings that is outlined for the day itself. So it gets me ready for the day.
What does digital inclusion mean to you?
Well, so this is a great question. When you think about inclusion, it's really a big part of Microsoft, and we believe that the technology that we create can empower like accessibility for all the products that we build, and it helps to empower every person, organizations, really to achieve more with our technology. And for me, we're proud of the fact that we build inclusivity, accessibility into our products, from caption in Teams, for example, and to accessibility checker in Microsoft PowerPoint, and even apps like Seeing AI, which you can download from any of the App Store itself. You can use the phone to narrate the world around you if you have a visual impairment or disability. So when we think about this, it's really about building that resilient and digitally inclusive Singapore. And we lend ourselves through the cause, through our work across the public and private sector with our digital enablement program, for example. And this is supported by IMDA, and it uses Microsoft technology that helps to engage with the ecosystem itself, and then also skill and provide job opportunities for a lot of people with disability by 2023. So this is really what I believe that we're striving for.
How do you relieve stress?
That's a great question. I think, in this 2 years of the pandemic with kind of multiple times when we work from home, I've actually picked up cooking. So so far, I think the best dish that I've been trying to replicate from my mom's recipe, it's the Singapore curry chicken rice.
Best piece of advice you have received?
Yeah, I think when I think about this best piece of advice, everybody gets 24 hours in a day. So how you spend it really depends on you. This was from a former Microsoft corporate vice president that I worked with, Dave Thompson, in the early days of Office 365. And it still makes a whole lot of sense to me.
What does building a resilient digital-first business mean to you?
Well, when we talk about mission at Microsoft of empowering every person and every organization, I see the building blocks of resilient and digital inclusive or first business in two parts. I think the first part is really having that growth mindset, because we're trying to make sure that as we all grow and learn, I think thinking about diversity, thinking about inclusivity, it's really important. And it's not just about being a know-it-all, but really embracing that culture of learning it all from different perspective and different domains as well. And I think this is something that help businesses when they think about being digital first. I think the other part is really about earning and sustaining trust. And because in this digital first world, trust itself is represented in our actions and the technology that we build. And certainly, our support of policies and principles that forms the foundation of a resilient and digital inclusive future itself. So for businesses that we work with, it's about ensuring that they protect what matters to people and communities that they serve. They use technology in a responsible way that helps fuel success in a fast-paced digital-first world.
How many cups of coffee or tea do you drink on average per day?
Well, when I saw that question, I heard that question, I was like, I think I lose count after the fourth cup.
What's the biggest challenge that businesses face when they think about being digital first?
I think human talent for sure. I think when businesses think about these challenges itself, while the business, the strategy is important, it doesn't mean anything if there is no real people to make it happen. And when we think about people, and here at Microsoft, when we think about that leadership and that managers principle itself around model, coach, and care, it's really to ensure that creating that culture that we model our best selves and be the coach that really roots for their success and genuinely cares about how our people are doing and how we can help them to be their best. So I think that's the big challenge that all businesses face, and it lends itself to a very critical aspect of the success or the potential failure of these businesses. So we should really have that focus on the human talent side of things.
What advice would you give leaders when they think about building a digital first business?
I think there's four things. First thing is really thinking about how you're engaging your customers. Obviously, the last 2 years of the pandemic has shifted a lot of the way companies think about engaging their customers on the digital and meeting where they are. I think secondly is really about empowering your employees with the right tool sets, with the right digital tools and platforms that helps them to collaborate and be driving innovations into the products and services that they are bringing to market itself. And then really thinking about their operations. How do you optimize it? How do you create a digital feedback loop between all of the different functions in an organization itself? And then, last but not least, I think when you look at your products and services, how should they be transforming for the next wave of the world itself, how people interact with your products and services? So I think when you think about all of this and creating that digital feedback loop across all these four areas, I think it will be very, very important when they think about building that digital first business.